Welcome back to our lecture series on Piaget's theory of cognitive development. In our previous class, we understood the basic concept of Piaget theory. We discussed schema, organization, adaptation, assimilation, accommodation, and equilibration. These concepts explains how learning takes place in a child mind. Today, we are going to study the first stage of Piaget's cognitive developmental theory, which is called sensory motor stage. This stage covers the period from birth to approximately 2 years of age, and according to Piaget, it is one of the most important stage because it lays the foundation for all future learning. Now, let me ask you a simple question. Have you ever observed a newborn baby? The baby can't speak, the baby can't read, the baby can't even solve mathematical problems, the baby can't even tell us what he or she is thinking. Yet every single day, the baby learns something new. So the question is, how does learning happen without language? This is exactly the question Piaget tried to answer. According to Piaget, during the first 2 years of life, children learn through their senses and physical action. That is why he named this stage sensory motor stage. The word sensory means learning through the five senses: seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, and smelling. The word motor means learning through physical movements like sucking, grasping, crawling, walking, reaching, and throwing objects. So we can simply define this stage as the sensory motor stage is the first stage of cognitive development in which infants understand the world through sensory experience and motor activities. The next question arises is, why is this stage called sensory motor? Now imagine a 6-month-old baby sitting on a floor. You place a colorful toy in front of the baby. What will the baby do? Will the baby ask what is the chemical composition of the toy? Of course not. Instead, the baby will look at it carefully, pick it up, put it in the mouth, shake it repeatedly, throw it on the floor, again pick it up, again throw it. Parents often become irritated and say, "ये बच्चा हर चीज नीचे क्यों गिरा देता है?" But according to Piaget, the baby is not being naughty. The baby is actually conducting experiment. The baby is trying to understand questions like, what happen if I shake this toy? What sound does it make? What happen if I drop it? Will someone pick it up again? So remember, for infant, play is learning. हर छोटी activity actually cognitive development का part होती है. Now let us understand the main characteristics of this stage. The very first characteristic of sensory motor stage is learning begin with reflexes. When a baby is born, many actions happen automatically. These automatic actions are called reflexes. Example include sucking, grasping, blinking, looking towards light. These reflexes help the baby survive. Initially, the baby does not perform these actions intentionally. Everything happens naturally, but slowly these reflexes become voluntary actions. For example, initially the baby accidentally hold your finger. After a few months, the baby intentionally reaches for your finger. This shows cognitive development. Second characteristic is learning through sensory experiences. At this stage, infants learn by using their senses. They learn by seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, and smelling. Every object becomes a learning material. For example, a steel spoon, a soft pillow, a wooden block, a rubber ball. Every object gives a different sensory experience. Through these experiences, baby gradually understand the properties of object. Next is motor activity is the basis of learning. Movement play a very important role. Children learn through crawling, walking, grasping, holding, reaching, throwing, pulling. The more opportunities children get to move, the more they learn. That is why Piaget believed that restricting children movement also restrict their learning. Then comes goal-directed behavior. Initially, babies perform actions accidentally. Later, they begin performing actions with a purpose. Suppose a favorite toy is kept behind a pillow. A young infant may simply cry, but an older infant remove the pillow first and then pick up the toy. This is called goal-directed behavior. Now, actions have become more intentional. Then comes trial and error theory. Around 1 year of age, children become little scientists. They start experimenting with everything. For example, a child repeatedly throw a spoon, sometimes from a chair, sometimes from a bed, sometimes from a table. The child is actually observing, does it always fall? Does it make different sounds? This is called trial and error learning. Experimentation is an important characteristic of this stage. Now we come to the most important concept of the sensory motor stage. This is one of the most frequently asked in CTET, UGC NET and B.Ed examination. The concept is called object prominence. Suppose you are playing with an 8-month-old baby. The baby is holding a ball. Now you hide the ball under a cloth. What will happen? The younger baby usually behave as if ball has disappeared forever. The baby simply stops searching. But an older infant immediately remove the cloth and search for the ball. Why? Because the older child understand that objects continue to exist even when they are not visible. This understanding is called object prominence. So object prominence is the understanding that objects continue to exist even when they cannot be seen, heard, or touched. This ability developed gradually and become fully established near the end of the sensory motor stage. Piaget divided this stage into 6 smaller substages, each one represent a new level of thinking. Substage 1 is reflexes, birth to 1 month. This is the earliest stage. Learning occurs through innate reflexes. Example, sucking, grasping, looking, crying, everything is automatic. The infant has no intentional control. Second substage is primary circular reflection, 1 month to 4 months. The word circular means repetition. The infant accidentally perform an action. The action feel pleasant, so the infant repeat it again and again. For example, thumb sucking. The baby accidentally sucks the thumb. It feels comforting. Now the baby intentionally repeat it. These actions involve the baby's own body. Therefore, they are called primary circular reactions. Third substage is secondary circular reaction. From 4th month to 8th month, now the infant become interested in outside world. Instead of repeating body movement, the child repeat actions involving external objects. Example, shaking a rattle, pressing a musical toy, kicking hanging toys. Now the child discover my action can change the environment. Substage 4th is about coordination of secondary circular reactions. 8th month to 12th month. Now behavior become purposeful. The child combine two actions to achieve one goal. For example, toy hidden behind a pillow. The child remove the pillow, then pick up the toy. This is called goal-oriented behavior. Object prominence also begin developing during this stage. Substage 5 is tertiary circular reaction from 12 month to 18 month. Now experimentation begin. Children deliberately change their action to observe different outcomes. For example, dropping a spoon from different height on different surfaces to hear different sound. This is a true scientific exploration. Piaget called children at this stage little scientists. Then comes substage 6, early representational thought from 18 months to 24 months. This is the final stage. Now children no longer depend completely on physical action. They begin thinking mentally. They use symbols, language, pretend play. For example, using a block as a mobile phone, pretending to cook food, talking to dolls. These activities show that symbolic thinkings have developed. By the end of this stage, object prominence is fully established. Although children in this stage are not attending formal schools, Piaget theory gives valuable guidance to parents, caregivers, and preschool teachers. Children should be provided with a safe environment where they can freely explore objects using their senses. Toys with different color, texture, sounds, and shape help stimulate cognitive development. Activities like stacking blocks, playing with softballs, water play, sand play, and peekaboo are especially beneficial because they strengthen sensory exploration and support the development of object prominence. Adults should encourage exploration rather than constantly stopping children from touching or manipulating objects because these experiences form the foundation of later learning. So today we learned that sensory motor stage is the first stage of Piaget's cognitive development theory. During this stage, infant learn through their senses and physical movement. They gradually progress from simple reflexes to intentional actions, begin experimenting with their environment, develop goal-oriented behavior, understand cause and effect, acquire object prominence, and finally develop the ability to use mental symbols and pretend play. These activities or achievement become the foundation for all future cognitive